Beth, who we've already talked about, has said, Jay, stop touching your face. Also, uh,
hello and welcome to No Particular Biscuit. TJ was all over that joke. I blame it entirely on him. Go ahead and unsubscribe now.
I mean, TJ is typically all over really bad jokes. I mean,
you know, I do. Oh no! Did I freeze up? Did I freeze? Oh,
no, just Jay.
And
froze up.
I just went.
Yeah, nobody looks at Jay anyway, so let's go ahead and move along till his video comes back.
We're good. I am nothing but a floating head voice. That
no, you're not. You're not a floating head voice. You're a beard.
Yeah, you're
stroker.
a beard stroker.
I am indeed a beard stroker. But if you had this luxurious thing, would you not?
I would shave it.
The worst beard out of all of us. Do
yes.
not step up.
If I had your beard, I would shave it until it was neatly trimmed like mine. All right. So anyway, No Particular Biscuit. That's right. This week we are doing something a little bit different. We're combining No Particular Order and Mana Biscuit. We're still working on getting the full swing of things back. Things have been a little hectic the last few weeks, but we've got our lists, as we promised on last week's No Particular Order, for the top 5 16-bit games. Next week it'll be 32-bit. After that it'll be 64-bit.
Or will we switch over to systems?
After that it'll be 128. After that it'll be 256, 512.
512.
Yes, we know binary. Because we are on the other side of the 10 people in the world, those who know binary and those who do not.
Don't.
Yes. And we are full of old jokes. And terrible jokes.
It still cracks me up, though.
It's only a really good joke when it's read. That's not a good joke to say.
Oh, I don't know if I agree with that. I think it's a terrible joke regardless. Okay, so let's get into... It is.
He says as he fades out of our view, mercifully.
Oh my God. There he goes all together. There he goes all
looks
together.
about the same. Generalized humanoid shape, bald head.
No, the Skype portrait isn't stroking the beard and texting.
Dude, I'm totally. Hold on, I'll find something real quick.
Jay, stop for the love of God.
Stop.
I don't know what I hate more: stroking the beard or texting women on Facebook.
Okay, we don't do any of those anymore.
All right.
None of us are gonna text anybody at all.
That's right. That's right, TJ.
Wait, and it's gone in waves. I mean, ultimately, it's been TJ and then
we've all had our problems.
Now, yes, we have all had our problems, but I will defend myself here and say that I have never texted a woman while I was on the show.
Yeah, but floating head. Anyway,
this is the weirdest episode ever.
Oh, we say that every week, and yet we somehow.
And yet we still get our 5 viewers.
We get our 5 viewers, and somehow we still manage to come up with an even weirder episode. So let's get on with this weird episode. Let's start doing a round robin on our top 5. And Jay,
yes,
what's at the top of your top 5 list of best 16-bit games?
Honestly, like my favorite game. Okay.
You sound so funny because your audio's fucked up.
Is it really?
Oh yeah, it's bad.
Oh, it's terrible. All right, Jay, you figure that shit out. TJ, what's on the top of your list?
Okay, on the top of my list is Spider-Man Maximum Carnage.
Yes.
Awesome kind of side-scrolling fighting game. Really great. And a personal favorite of mine because of this game in a roundabout way kind of got stolen from me. And then a couple of years after the fact, I ran into the kid who stole my game.
Did you beat him up?
In a way.
Let him tell the story, Jay.
We were both on wrestling teams, and we were we went to a meet where both of our teams were there, and I got matched up against the kid who stole my video game and proceeded to pound the hell out of him for like 3 solid rounds. I refused to pin him, just manhandled him constantly. I ended up winning massively on points because I just brutalized this kid because I was just so angry. And I cannot think of another game that would have caused the same reaction. If he'd have stolen some other game, I might have been willing to let bygones be bygones, but not that game. That game, you get your face ground into the mat.
That's right.
Cheese grater.
No, that was a great game, and our more dutiful and astute listeners will remember that is the sole reason that Cloak and Dagger made it onto my list of of comic book characters that needed their own films, because they were a great fucking summon ability in that game.
Yeah.
I played the hell out of that game with my buddy back in the day. I loved the side-scrolling beat-em-ups, and Maximum Carnage, I don't know if there's a better game. I know Streets of Rage is probably a bit more esteemed historically, but for me, yeah.
Spider-Man, that game.
Yes. Maximum Carnage, baby. Because is there a 90s villain in comics?
Like, cooler than Carnage?
No, because it's like, oh, here's Venom. Venom is already an evil twist on a beloved character that we threw in. And, oh, here's Carnage, even more extreme.
I'm surprised they didn't misspell the name, like spell it with a K.
K, yes.
And have him just like chugging Mountain Dew all the time while he cut people up with his claw hands.
Oh, yeah. Love me
good
some
at
Maximum
all.
Carnage. Love Carnage in general. Jay, you're on a new camera.
Yes, I was hoping that this might work, and
Well, what you probably need to check is that
Is
your
your
microphone is set to your actual microphone instead of the camera microphone.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Hey, we're doing it live, folks. All right.
Yeah,
while
that's
Jay
what-
figures out his shit, I will get on to...
you will go to yours.
I will go to my list. Top of my list is Beyond Oasis. This game only came out on the Sega Genesis, and it only came out on the Sega Genesis because Sega Genesis could not have Legend of Zelda. And Beyond Oasis was a fantastic Zelda clone, and it had this great sort of Arabian Nights and Aladdin vibe to it. And Aladdin, I don't know if most of our viewers were around in the 90s. Of course they were around in the 90s. They're all 30.
They're all our
geeks,
friends.
Like, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, Aladdin was pretty big in the 90s, and this melding of Zelda and Aladdin, it really rang true. And of course, all the dungeon / puzzle gameplay, it really went well together. All right, so Jay.
All right, audio sound good?
Okay, I hate
Yeah.
to say it, but you're up.
I'm up. All right. Well, I'm torn between two of them, but ultimately, because we've gone the side scroller route for everything else, I'm going to go with Golden Axe 2. Love the Golden Axe series. All three of them were outstanding. And they were Genesis only, and that made for, the exclusive game kind of experience. And
Oh, man.
wow, really? You're that friggin' bored? Oh.
Well, yeah, obviously, because you're talking. But no, like, it just occurred to me how long console wars have been a thing.
Yeah, console wars have been a thing since.
Well, that's
yeah,
actually
I
an
think that's
interesting
probably-
little tangent because we do tangents here on Man and Biscuit. We're a tangent-oriented podcast. The console wars, how long they've been a thing is one consideration, but that they're still a thing, I think, is even a bigger consideration, right? Because what is the functional difference between an X-Bone and a PS4 right now, other than Bloodborne?
Titanfall.
What's that?
Titanfall.
I thought Titanfall was on both.
No, Titanfall was Xbox exclusive.
It's a good thing that it was such a wonderful and acclaimed game and lasted so long with
Very,
this
very
broad base of fans.
Yeah, I mean, Bloodborne could be similarly niche, but you know, it's a niche that has a 2 to 3 majority on this podcast.
Wait. Does TJ actually own a system of current generation?
Yeah, buddy.
I own a PS4 and Bloodborne.
Oh,
that's right.
Wow.
And in a couple of weeks, Dark Souls 3, and I will be taking a brief hiatus from this show and my life and everything.
Sorry, Amanda.
Sorry, Amanda.
I want to yell at you guys, but I did the same thing to Jay like last week.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Calling out a real world association. But anyway.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. So we've got the first out of our way. Let's just keep the same order for now. TJ, what is second on your list?
Interestingly enough, it was also a second in a series. It is Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Two.
Excellent game. I love the Sonic games. Everybody loved the Sonic games. It did just enough of playing with the formulas that it wasn't boring, like you were just doing the exact same thing that you had done in the first game. It's a perfect example on how to do a sequel. Like, just flawless. And a lovely game that I put way too many hours in. And still, like, on the last generation of consoles, I bought a collection of old Genesis games for my Xbox and played a whole bunch of Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Yeah, I have them both. I have one for my PS3 and one for the one on my Steam account.
Yeah. It holds up. They're still great games.
It holds up, and not only does it hold up, I think it's still, in a lot of ways, the epitome of Sonic gaming, because everything that's come since has been either A, not as good, or B, complete, total, and utter bullshit.
Yeah, Shadow Sonic and all that other good stuff. Yeah, it was
the Werewolf Sonic.
But at the same time, I mean, we don't have. Once you move past 32-bit gaming, 62-bit or 64-bit, pardon me, to a certain extent, but once you move past 32-bit gaming, there is no real.
Well, let's talk about that for a second.
What?
Let's get technical, because I'm the IT guy. Yeah, technically right now everything is still 64-bit gaming because it's running on a 64-bit processor, and the benchmarks of gaming have long since moved past that. We are using 8-bit and 16-bit as more generational and chronological markers than actual technological markers. Although the key difference between 8-bit and 16-bit at the time was simply the color palette. Because binary, which we already discussed, we know how it works, allows for a greater number of colors defined on a 16-bit processor versus an 8-bit processor. And, of course, 32-bit processor opens it wide open. All right. So now that we got that nerd shit out of the way.
But that having been said, okay, we're keeping these as chronological markers. There's no real, once you hit that next generation where, Sony threw their hat into the ring and things like that, while you've got great and classic games, there's no retro classic mix for that. Short of the Rare Replay bundle, mind you. But
the Rare Replay bundle, or how the vast majority of games for the current generation have been updated / remastered 1080p versions of the previous generation. I mean, that's something that I think is more of a tangential conversation to the progression of gaming in general, and I think it does somewhat speak to the stagnation of progress in terms of technical capabilities of consoles. But anyway, let's dial this back. Let's bring it back to the 16-bit era. Let's bring it back to 1993, because what's not better when it's brought back to 1993? And we'll go up with the next game on my list, and that is Super Mario World. That is the one obvious game that I filched for my list, because every time we do this, it seems like, we leave off the obvious games for you people to come on to our comments and be like, oh, Huckers, you leave out this obvious game. Well, not this week. Super Mario World made my list because it was amazing. We talked about Sonic the Hedgehog a few minutes ago and how the 16-bit side-scrolling platformer really kind of reached its pinnacle in the Sonic series with Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I think that the side-scrolling platformer in general in the 16-bit era reached its apex with Super Mario World, and I don't know that there are many people who would disagree with me, but if you are one of those people, go ahead and leave a comment. Why not? I don't give a fuck. Okay. All right, Jay. What's number 2 on your list?
And number 2 on my list, I'm going with Phantasy Star 4. This was a game that I seriously, if I'm not mistaken, invested like 250 hours into.
Wow.
It was ridiculous. I wanted everything. I wandered through the planets over and over and over again. The game was just so expansive, and there was nothing like it. And wow.
Jay's in a rave.
Huh?
Jay's in a rave.
Like I'm watching.
The cheat
the
is
physical look on my
grounded.
face while I was talking is that even this camera seems to be wanting to bounce in and out.
It's gotta
Not
be
just
your
on
PC,
here,
dude.
but on
It's
my,
either your PC or your internet connection, both of
I'm
which I
feeling
would
towards
venture to say are
PC,
headed in the
but-
same direction as your life.
I'm looking at. Oh goodness, yes, it's true. Downhill slide.
All right. Downhill slide. All right. So Phantasy Star 4, that was quite a number of hours that you claim to have spent in that. What you said, 200
I
and
think it was like 250 hours. I think I spent
250
like
hours.
5 weeks. Huh?
250 hours. I'm just thinking, I'm doing a little bit of off the top of the head math here. That's like a bit over 10 days /played.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
easy. That's
Yeah,
easy.
in a game like that, that's easy. And like,
Yeah.
I mean, we won't even talk about what I did with the friggin' GBA Advanced Pokemon Sapphire. Goodness.
Oh, well, we won't talk about it because it didn't make your list.
Would-
But maybe
would
it
that-
made your list. Leave a comment. All right.
Would that have been declared 16-bit?
Of course it was. Game Boy Advance was a 16-bit system. It was pretty
Mother-
much the portable
I didn't
freaking...
even think about I didn't even
Oh
think
man,
about
I didn't think about the GBA either. There were some really good games on the GBA.
Yeah, there was.
I
mean,
did,
we're
and then I
talking
went
Super
back to
Metroid,
some
we're
of
talking-
my... Yeah. Well, Super Metroid was
on the Super
that's-
Nintendo.
Yeah,
as well.
it was a port.
Yeah. But there were
Jay.
several Metroid games that.
Oh yeah, there were some really good Metroid.
outstanding.
Some awesome Castlevanias out
Yeah.
on the GBA. What Circle of the Moon was on the GBA. Like,
let's not forget, like Fire Emblem.
Yeah, Fire Emblem series.
and
I did play that.
obviously the Love Hina game.
Yes. the great 16-bit dating sim.
which is all the Japanese imports for just a moment were all dating
Almost, yeah.
for just
That's
a second there. Towards the tail end of that life, it's like towards the tail end of the GBA life, moving into
DS.
the DS age was all straight up dating sims and ridiculous.
Well,
Started.
not all, but a lot of dating sims came out there. I think anyway, we'll move on from that. But I think the DS was pretty much defined by Nintendogs, which is a dating sim for pets. It's for when you've given up on dating in general and just decided that,
To get a dog.
yeah,
This
There you
will love me unconditionally.
oh, dogs.
No one else will. And
Dogs
that's
always
why
will.
TJ loves the DS.
And that's
I
why
never
you
owned
love
a
your
DS.
pit bull.
What?
And that's why you love your pit bull.
I do love my pit bull.
Of
He's a good
course you
dog.
do. He is a great dog, but I'm just saying, no one else. No
Nobody
one
else loves
Jay.
you. I love you, Jay.
You are
Oh.
a fucking liar.
I am moderately fond of you,
No,
Jay.
no, you do not have the opportunity to try to
What?
coddle me right there. No, you do not love me. You have never loved me.
I adequately tolerate you, Jay.
There we go. There we go.
There we go. All right, TJ, what's number 3 on your list?
I just want to click.
The next one on my list is Earthworm Jim, an excellent game that I never actually owned. I played on a friend's system, which he didn't own it either, but he had the Sega channel, and it was always on the menu. Like, they never took it off the Sega channel because it was such a popular game. So I played through the entire game on that. It was probably the first online gaming experience I ever had in its own little weird way. And, yeah, just a fantastic, fun little game. Really whimsical and pleasant.
Well,
you know?
of course, yeah. I mean, groovy. And, yeah. I believe the thing that I will remember most from Earthworm Jim is that I learned how to pronounce the word duodenum. Jay, what happened to your camera?
I was crying.
Oh,
For
okay.
tears.
You've never bothered to turn off your camera for that before.
Yeah,
It's true.
it's true. All right, we'll move on. We'll move on to
Number three.
on my list here. We want to keep this moving. Number 3 on my list is Tasmania.
This game was so friggin' good.
It was great.
I never even played it. Was it that
Oh,
good?
It was
awesome.
it was an awesome little side scroller, and at the time I was a huge fan of the Tasmania cartoon on Fox. I think
It was-
nay UPN. No, it wasn't UPN yet. It was still Fox, but it was a Saturday morning cartoon called Tasmania.
I remember the show.
Yeah. Come to Tasmania, come to Tasmania. And it was a side-scrolling game based on that. And it was fun, you know, you run, you jump on the platforms, you have some enemies, you pick up some things.
It was distinctly similar to
Everything else that was out at the time.
No, friggin' Crash Bandicoot. In regards to the spinny around.
Well,
jumpy
yeah,
things,
it had some
stuff like that.
mechanics that were tied into the Tasmanian Devil and all that, and his iconic
Twister form.
Yeah. So anyway, but the reason it stuck out in my mind, it was the first time that I played a game in the 16-bit era, and I realized that 16-bit graphics look just like cartoons. And as a 13-year-old boy, that was the most important part to me. So
yeah, that was it's one of the things that stood out to me as far visually speaking. That was a very, very pretty game.
yeah, for the era, it absolutely was.
For the era, it was.
Yep. All right. So Jay, what's next on your list?
Speaking of things that are not pretty, next up on my list is Splatterhouse. I loved this game. Just simply, any opportunity to be able to play the villain, I will gladly take, and that bodes true both in real life and in.
Oh yeah, because you're so hard, Jay.
I am all sorts of it. No. Anytime I can play
You're
the bad guy.
big meanie. You're
Yep.
big mean man.
Yeah.
But no, any opportunity I get to play the bad guy, I actually kind of relish the role. Then the opportunities are few and far between, but I have fun with it. And this was ultimately, I mean, you were trying to go through and you were Jason. I mean, that was the best part about this game. You were the villain, and it didn't happen very often. We don't play those games that you're the bad guy. Ultimately, we're always the hero or anti-hero, and this just broke that mold for me. And loved it.
And it's a well-loved game. I never played it. I never actually had a TurboGrafx 16, nor have I bothered to emulate it in the years since. So did you actually have a TurboGrafx 16? How did you play it back in the day?
Not. If I'm not mistaken, I either played it at a friend's house over a weekend. I had a buddy of mine, Rory, that would actually he got his mom bought him every game as they came out, and all right, he bought every game as they came out, and this was one of them where we sat down and played for the weekend. I look so much better right now. Yeah.
For a moment. We'll see how it
Yeah,
lasts.
see how it lasts.
Okay, so you played at a friend's house because you had that friend like we all did with the parents with the
Who
large...
got a divorce?
No, for me it wasn't the
Oh, man,
parents who
that's
got
so-
a divorce. It was the parents who each had upper middle class jobs, and so combined they were very upper middle class. But anyway, yeah, that's how we played the games that we didn't own ourselves. But so yeah, TurboGrafx 16 was, I don't think I knew anybody with the TurboGrafx 16. So even that in and of itself is
I did. I knew a kid with a Turbo,
Yeah.
but I didn't really. I think I went over and played it like once.
Yeah, the only one I didn't know, Neo Geo was the one that I didn't
Oh,
know.
Neo Geo was so ridiculously expensive. It's like buying
I
a
knew a kid
freaking...
who had that too. Same kid.
What?
And also, I never met anybody that had a Jaguar.
I knew a kid who had one of those. Same kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like this kid got everything. Where is he now?
Except for loving parents.
Oh.
I hope you're watching, TJ's friend,
He's not.
because he's probably off on his fucking yacht.
Yeah. We're not touching this. Wow.
Yeah, anyway. All right. I believe we're on to number 4 now.
Okay.
TJ, what's number 4?
Awesome Possum.
Altered Beast.
Awesome
Not
Possum.
you, Jay.
Altered Beast.
No, we'll get to you. Awesome Possum kicks Dr. Machino's butt, which was a terrible Sonic the Hedgehog clone with an environmentalist like backdrop where you had to collect garbage through the levels instead of rings or stars, whatever. You were collecting garbage so you could recycle it at the end. And the more you got, the more questions you could answer about environmental issues and rack up extra points and extra lives by correctly answering questions. And one of the big selling points of the game was that it had an actual voice system. The main character would out loud read the questions to you, which was pretty rare then. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of actual speaking for games for the Genesis. So it wasn't a particularly good game, but I played it a lot because I didn't have all that many games to begin with, and also because at the time I was really into environmental issues and wanted to grow up to save the planet.
And now you're like, fuck it.
Yeah.
You're like, global warming's here. It's climate change.
I'm just gonna open my door. I'm just gonna throw this plastic cup out there.
Yeah.
Apparently, nobody else cares about environmental issues either because you're still drinking out of a red Solo cup. Nobody has gotten you a cup yet.
No, Beth got him a cup.
Beth did give me a cup, and then we also discussed recently how she was going to start going to her friends' houses and stealing their cups, and then having me take them from Anna Biscuit so she could link them the episode and be like, haha, I stole that.
I stole your cup, bitch! Oh, goddamn, that's awesome. We gotta get Beth on the show sometime.
Yeah,
we do.
She's
she
far,
also, like,
she's far more interesting than Jay.
I'm just going to digress, but Beth is probably our biggest fan. She'll watch it with her baby.
Yes!
Like, as soon as we put it out, like, that's what they do the next morning is watch the show. And I went over to their place for book club a little while ago, and every time I would talk, her son would just, like, look around and recognize the voice.
That is awesome.
So shout out to Beth and to Giles.
Yes,
you,
Giles,
Beth.
I am so fucking sorry.
We gotta have the next generation of Mana Biscuit.
Yeah, we didn't even get the first generation.
I
Now we
know.
have the next generation.
Wait.
All right,
All
Giles.
right. My turn.
All right, motherfucker. This isn't the order we've been going in, but you're really anxious for this, so go ahead.
I had a love-hate relationship with this game. I hated playing this game, but I loved it. I loved it because it was the first thing that I ever did.
What's the game, Jay?
My Genesis came with Altered Beast. Okay, mine was one of the original ones. It wasn't Sonic the Hedgehog. It was Altered Beast. I hated this game, but it was all I had initially.
Yeah, and it's time for you to rise from your grave.
Yep. Rise. Anyway, yeah, I hated this game with an undying passion, and yet played the hell out of it because there was nothing else to play. And I so dug this game. I so dug the controller in the hand and things like that, that ultimately I would play. I would have played anything. And Altered Beast is the equivalent of, well, garbage, to be honest with you.
It wasn't that bad.
I think it's probably the 16-bit equivalent of Angry Birds in that regard.
Could be.
I just well, there was nothing else to play on mobile, so everybody played that.
This is true. But yeah, it was one of those games where I needed to get that off of my chest, so that way I can go to the cool stuff. And
the
you guys
cool stuff. You have one item left, Jay. That was number 4. All right. So since I let Jay go ahead of me, I will give you my number 4. Going back to TJ's point about 16-bit games rarely talking to you, this game did, because it had a luxurious 750 megabytes to store audio and video information. It was Spider-Man versus the Kingpin Sega CD edition, and it features Swing Time, what is easily one of my favorite tracks from the 90s. And it also had
Did you download a clip for this? Because I have no idea what you're talking about.
We listened to it before the show, but you were too busy grocery shopping.
That's right.
Some of us have to adult every once in a while.
I adulted all of my adultness yesterday. I'm all caught up on adulting.
That's right. As did I. I have a loaf of rye bread on my refrigerator. All
and
right.
some soy milk in the fridge.
Yes! I told you about this. All right.
I hate almond milk.
Chocolate almond milk is great.
That sounds amazing right now.
It is. Why don't you come down to my place,
let's finish this show up so I can go to the store.
Let's finish this up so I can go to it.
You're on time, Jay!
All right. Spider-Man Sega CD. Swing Time. Flying for Justice. All right. That's it. That's it all I'm going to say for that. We got to get the hell out of here. So let's get to our number 5s. Jay, since you like to break orders, give us your number 5 first.
Number 5 was Bog's
and then
Adventure
just go
for
home.
TurboGrafx 16. Loved this game because of, again, colors and brightness, and it was the first game I played on the TurboGrafx, and just the concept of headbutting things became fun for me. For just
good old Bonk. That was it, man. Bonk and Splatterhouse. That was all that was on the fucking TurboGrafx 16 commercials. Yeah. So, did you actually know somebody with a TurboGrafx 16, or did you just watch the commercials?
No, I actually knew somebody. Like we talked about Splatterhouse.
I'm just fucking with you. All right, let's get this show on the road. All right, TJ, what's your number 5?
Primal Rage, fighting with dinosaurs.
Right, I love that game, man.
Awesome.
It was like fatalities with like fucking Tyrannosaurus and fucking
and the thing that got to me was when you would have like essentially the stamina death where your heart would explode.
Yes. Did they have? Yeah, they had
a heart meter and a health meter. So if you fought too hard, you could give yourself a heart attack and die. Oh yeah,
amazing. Yeah, it's
such a terrifying
Primal Rage. All right, last on my list from the token, he hates Star Wars guys. I am going to say Super Star Wars Return of the Jedi, because those were some amazing side-scrolling games. And if anything would make me like Star Wars, it is those games on the Super Nintendo. All right.
Miserably, you hate Star Wars. What?
Yeah, I know, right? But I did enjoy those games. And the jumping around and fucking killing things with fucking lightsabers and shit.
Man, that's all you need, bro. Just lightsabers and stuff to kill with said lightsabers.
That's right. That's right. That's why I love The Force Awakens. All right.
The first one, man.
Yeah. Yeah, those were tight. All right, Jay's
there
gone.
I go.
TJ's given his list. Jay's given his list. I've given my list. We've done a Man of Biscuit show. TJ, I'm not going to zoom in on you because it's going to look weird with Jay gone. All right, now I'll zoom in on you.
I got this. I'm back.
Give us your comments real quick. We've been slacking off on that shit.
Oh, yep, and I do have them up. My mouse has stopped because it's been so long since I've used it. So here we go. The comments from the last several things that we put on YouTube. Raven thanked us for giving him the Contra shout out. He was very proud of that moment.
As you should be.
Beth, who we've already talked about, has said, Jay, stop touching your face. Also, a top 5 list of games from Beth, including Risk, Ticket to Ride, Horse Race Games, which is apparently a localized game from around the town that she grew up in, Spoons, and Cribbage, because apparently to her math is fun. She also points out that she does not appreciate cooperative games.
Because fuck those.
Didn't I have Cribbage on my gaming list?
I think so.
You did. Yeah. But
Thank
she
you
agreed.
Whoever said math is fun. Who was that?
What?
Who said math?
Shut up, Jay! Okay, so the final comment that I don't think we've read thus far on a show is again by Raven, talking about the film going experience. This is about the Deadpool episode that we put up, and about how he really appreciates the Alamo Draft House because if there are there are assigned seats, and B, if you show up late, you don't get to see that show at that time because you didn't show up. And he appreciates that, which I do also really appreciate the Alamo Draft House. So.
That's right. Local shout out to the Alamo Draft House, 20 minutes away from Mana Biscuit headquarters. I don't know what.
Now you do realize
it started in like Austin, Texas.
Yeah, it's a chain, homie. Well, we just happen to have one.
Yeah, but it's still a local shout out to ours.
Fair.
Okay. Fair.
You're goddamn right, it's fair. All right. Okay. All right. So those are our comments. We squeezed a top 5 list into the Mana Biscuit show. No Particular Biscuit. I think I sense a rebranding coming on, guys. I don't know about you.
It's actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, we'll figure it out next week. Maybe we'll do 2 shows. Maybe we'll do 1 show. Maybe we'll do no show.
Maybe we'll do 3 shows.
Or maybe we'll do a show that's completely forgotten about until the week following.
Yeah. In 2 weeks, oh my God. We are getting way ahead of ourselves now. We don't even plan like a day ahead, let alone 2 weeks ahead. In 2 weeks, it is the 1-year anniversary of this tomfuckery. Wow. That's right. 1 year ago, in 2 weeks, we started this show, and
we need to go back to playing games while we do it.
Maybe we'll see. We'll figure something out. If you have an idea for what we should do for our
celebratory shenanigans,
celebratory shenanigans, go ahead and leave it in the comments, and we'll probably ignore it, because we won't remember this until 2 weeks from today. But for now, for Jacob Gamble with a shitty camera.
Sorry. I had a shitty connection, apparently, because I don't know what the hell's going on.
And for TJ Rathburn with his, steady camera. It's the same every week. It's reliable. I am RJ Volosky, and we will see you, ever-loving motherfuckers. We love you all. Next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Dude, did you really have to do the cookie thing?